Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is G. You're watching Allastrology. This is your week of January 12th and the following 7 days. You know how you have a setting and then they just kind of delete your settings and it's like, okay, thank you. All right, so maybe we should start this all over again, but that's okay. We won't. So here we go. We are beginning, and you see it on the screen there. I've got Pluto, I've got Venus, and we've got a third one there. It's a surprise. We'll get to it. Yes, there's a new moon. We'll touch on that. There's a separate video for it, but just give me a second to kind of just get your focus, your general focus on Uranus energy at 27 degrees in Taurus. Okay. Now we do have some midpoints at 23, 24, 26, money and values and banking, desires, creature comforts, earth, farming, the land, desires and how I make money, self love, self worth. These are big keywords for this energy because this is the last time Uranus will be in Taurus for quite a long time. The Uranian energy going back and forth in our values is there to shake them up. It's there to kind of literally go like that and see what is still clinging, what's still holding on for dear life. Because Uranus's goal is to say, I see all the values you got like attached to here, attachments, Taurus energy. I see all the stuff you have that you don't want to let go of, but it's outdated. And so I come through Uranus and I just disrupt shit. I just throw, horseshoes and just shit's not gonna work, or I come in and you have no other option but to do something you've never done before. Upsets, Uranus energy, revolutions, Uranus energy, unconventional energy, Uranus energy, different. What do we authentically value within ourselves? Figure out what is it about myself, my self-worth, the connection to the group, because Uranus rules Uranian and Aquarian energy. So it's my values and my self-worth and that connection to the group energy, which can be awkward, can be difficult because Taurus and Aquarius energy, they angle up in a stressful square. So wherever your Taurus is in your chart, it might be, because Pluto is over there in Aquarius. So we're feeling that like, that difficulty, that oil and water, like, oh shit, no, I don't do that, or whatever. However, 27 degrees is my mind. It's my thinking. It's the brain. It's the thought process. It's the thoughts that I've kept. It's also how I learn, my ability to learn, my value of information and in learning. And do I value it? And am I really seeking and searching out the truth? Remember, Uranian energy brings in technology. It brings in AI. It brings in crypto, Bitcoin, because it's tech mixed with values and money. It brings in the future. Big boss energy, right? Rules, structure, job, career. This is very serious energy. It's working for the long term, working for the end goal, which is what? The ultimate, which is what? Well, in the material, tangible, the ultimate is the money, the moolah, the house, the cars. What am I building? Like a legacy. I'm building something so I can hand something down to my children type of stuff, right? Capricorn builds and it builds and builds. It usually likes to compartmentalize so that it can accomplish its long-term goal, long-term financial stability. Think of the stable energy, very stabilizing energy here because it's trining Earth energy, Taurus, which is stabilizing, but it's trining Uranus, which is different, which is new, which can be a boss energy, can be authority figure energy. And we've seen a rise in the authoritarians and the mixture of corporations and money and boss and rulers and government and the hand in hand that happens, right? You've got the sun, you've got Mercury, you've got Mars, you've got Venus, and they're all starting to trine Uranus in Taurus. So information, news with government, with corporations, from people in charge, your boss at the job, mom and dad, whoever the authority figure is of your life. This would be of corporations and governments. These are heads of state. These are people who are pretty big at the top. Now, with all that said, that trine can create an ease of some sort. It can, because it's trine energy. So it can be beneficial for those, especially if you've got folks who've got something at the 27 degrees. Uranus brings by something new, different, and exciting. That's Uranus energy. It could be by the way of work or some sort of a new long-term goal or plan. But when you have a combination of earth and earth, it's very stabilizing energy, unless you shy away from the new and different and exciting. Remember, this can be friends and group energy, social services, but it's something that will likely stretch you outside of your comfort zone. Taurus, super comfort. It's all about its freaking comfort. I mean, the bull will just stand there in the pasture, pouring down rain. As long as it's got its food next to it, it does not care. It will just sit there. It's comfortable. So even Venus is part of the story because she's right there at 23. So this is this whole week. Okay. Now to top this off, let's get over to here. And I've got written down here Venus on the 12th, Venus trining on the 12th. And then Mars and Mercury together start trining. They start joining this beautiful trine on the 14th. You see that? And then even the moon this week, right? So there's a lot over here that is building. The energy of stability is building. So how stable will this be? It might not look like the stable that you envision because it's different and it's unconventional and it's surprising and it's disruptive. It's Uranus. If you've got anything in any of the earth signs from 1 to 10 degrees, the first 6 months of 2026 are the last 6 months of when the superpower South Node will be in Virgo. And so 0 to 10 degrees, this is it. This is the call. This is where the superpower sets in and says, okay, I'm going to make this happen for you. So whether it's a career, whether it's your health, you see, we've got support in Capricorn. Juno's going to be coming through in Capricorn at 5 degrees this week. So there's a beneficial, stabilizing energy with the earth signs. And so this South Node adds support to that because it brings in your superpower and you're like, I can do that. Sure, I may not have ever done that before, but I can do that. I've got some skills that I can take from this other thing that I've done and I can, walk across that bridge, that ladder, and I can make it happen. Virgo's really, really good with that because Virgo's always like, how can I improve upon this? How can I fix this? How can I make this better? And it can see some of the things, some of the details that nobody else saw, the things that people overlooked. So Virgo has that capacity. And it's usually a strong connection in a very holistic type of way because it can see the details and connect them to the whole. Now, with that said, remember the dates one more time. You have Venus, my money, my values. You've got Mercury, news, communication, and information. Mars, what I'm taking action with. The Sun, an authority figure. All of this is in Cappy energy. All of this is focused on the long-term goals and creating stability. Venus, my money, new money even, because it's Venus trining Uranus, supported by the Sun. Even though this is a Cazimi type of energy here, which it is, because it's Venus still close to the Sun, it is in Cazimi mode. So what I will say is there might be communications, right? Because once Venus pulls forward, she'll eventually enter into Aquarius. But the thing is, for the first part of the year, and what I should say more specifically is, for at least for the next couple of weeks, okay? Venus and the Sun kind of move together Venus isn't especially fast, okay? So they are close in degree and they kind of move into the next week and the week following that holding hands. All right. So what that does is it sets up news and information, Mercury, and maybe even actions taken, Mars, trining Uranus energy. But the idea of where's the money coming, when is the money coming in, this is more like, to me, what we're building towards, meaning I'm taking the steps and I'm investing in, because the money might not be seen or show up until Venus and the sun separate. Venus is your money, is your income. And once the sun and Venus separate a little bit, then Venus becomes visible. That's not happening this week. Okay. We will talk about that more later on, because Venus is in a cycle where we're waiting for her to be seen. So just have some patience, have some stick to itiveness, and hang in there with whatever it is your focus is for your long term goals. The new moon is on the 18th. Okay. On the 18th, we have a new moon in Capricorn energy, and it is going to be right at 28 degrees. All right. So 28 degrees in Capricorn. What am I building for my future? What are my long term goals and plans? This is long term commitment energy. This can be a commitment to a company. This can be a commitment to whatever your long term goals are, and it can be to another person. Many times for feminine energy, mirroring masculine energy, or looking for that masculine boss, father figure type of energy to make a long term commitment to. This can be marriage for some folks. Now, remember what I said about Venus. Okay. This is more about setting my goals and investing communication and talk and conversation and action, things to kind of, we're laying the tracks. You follow, the train's not on the tracks yet. This is where we're laying the tracks. We're building up the structure of that track. We're clearing the land type of thing. We're building. We're in a building process, because as long as Venus and the sun are together, we're not seeing the moolah just yet. Doesn't mean we're not talking about it. And when I say the moolah, I'm talking about Venus. But remember, Venus is my desires and it is my love. And this is at the end of the week. Venus will go into Aquarius energy. Venus in Aquarius. And when Venus enters Aquarius energy, the Aquarius energy is all about new and different. And this brings kind of a strong connection then to Uranus in Taurus. There is a mutual reception going on here. This is a moment of where we are opening up our mind. And it's not just about the mind, it's about communication and networking. Venus will be sitting at the table with Pluto. Pluto is in the mind and networking and talking and communication energy this week. And remember, Venus will get here, will actually get conjunct that Pluto energy at the beginning of next week. Talking and thinking about ways of changing how I communicate, changing the technology, changing how I learn on the technological side, especially within group energy. So whether that's live streaming, whatever platforms where you're in a group unit, whether it's webinar, however that goes, right? There's change wherever Pluto is. And this is a very important time. And I can't stress enough how important it is, because not only do we have all that energy in Cappy and Saturn at the money and the values degree, but the nodes are at 10 and they are going to change pretty soon to 9. So the nodes being at 10 is a Saturn degree. So whatever we're doing this week, this is a week to make sure that we are utilizing any type of new communication that comes through. Don't close the door. Be open to communication, because you just never know where that is going to take you into the future.